All right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this Tuesday night, Power to the People. I apologize. We have a little technical difficulties, and as you can see, I am struggling just a little bit, just last minute. To no fault of all of our panelists, they all were here on time, and just at the last minute, technology want to raise its ugly head and try to show who's in power. But we're gonna pull it down today in the power of the Lord. So we ask that God be with us as we prepare to go and have some pink table talk. Yeah, Jada Pickett got red table talk, I think it is, and we got pink table talk. And I'm grateful that God has allowed these panelists to be able to come and share with us on today. And I'm going to go ahead and jump right into this since we're a little bit behind. I want to welcome all of our YouTube live listeners. And if you have someone in your family that may not have a Facebook page, go ahead and call them and tell them to scoot over to YouTube and look up Goodman Creek. And it'll be a live broadcast and they can come in it as well. If you have a youngster in college, because we got a young person that's just graduated college that is a cancer survivor, and they may be on Twitter. So if they're on Twitter, they can go to Periscope Live, and we'll be there and they can comment live as well. So we're grateful for you tonight. We also ask if you would be so kind to go ahead and do me a favor and share, and also tag. Now, I don't ask that you do a watch party. I just ask if you would share and tag, and we'll be grateful. Somebody will have a testimony that you probably have a friend that needs to hear. All right, so we're going to go ahead and bring them on. First, I'm going to bring up my co-host. I have two guest co-hosts. Mr. Johnson is off tonight. He didn't need to be here for this. And so we brought on two co-hosts. We're going to bring up first the foundation whom we're representing. This is Miss Teresa Patterson. Go ahead and tell them hello, Miss Patterson. I think you're muted. You're muted. All right.
Good evening, everyone. Hope everyone is doing well, and I'm happy.
And we're glad to have him. Now, Miss Teresa is a part of the Lucan Foundation. So this broadcast is a part of the Lucan Foundation where they help cancer patients. And we're gonna, Teresa's gonna come back and give us the foundation of how they were founded and the credits to the foundation. And they are who Lucan is who's sponsoring this particular show. So Teresa, we're gonna bring everybody up and then we're gonna come back and let you introduce the foundation to us officially. All right. And then our next guest is none other than my musical inspired brother-in-law. I think that's where the echo. He has so much going on. I think that's where he gonna say it's not. But he's my second guest host. You can come on up.
You can hear me?
Yes. And so we say hello to the people.
Hello, people. How are you doing today?
All right. So he's going to serve as our guest. And we're going to bring up the rest of our guests for you tonight. I'm going to start with Miss Dockery, Miss Wanda Dockery. And Miss Dockery, tell people hello. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Good evening. I'm Wanda Dockery. I've been teaching at Long Middle School for 15 years in Sherrill, South Carolina. And I hope you will find this meeting informative tonight.
All right. Thank you. And thank you so much for being with us on tonight. And then we have, I'm going to skip over to Reverend Black. And Reverend Black, where are you? There you go. How are you today?
I'm good. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. So tell a little bit about yourself.
So
well, just about what you do or something. We'll get into the cancer portion in just a second.
I am a clinical therapist, clinical social worker. I work for a nonprofit community health center, and I'm the behavior health consultant manager. I am also in the ministry.
Okay, all righty. Thank you. Thank you so much for being with us today. Then I'm gonna bring on a youngster. This is Miss Bianca. She is a superstar basketball player, renowned, well-known in Chesterfield County. And she just graduated college. And if you could tell us a little bit what you're doing. You haven't graduated, you're in grad school, right? Is that what it is? You tell us about yourself.
So I just graduated from the College of Charleston about a year ago with a public health bachelor's of science. Then I'm currently a student at the Medical University of South Carolina, where I will be graduating with my nursing degree in about a month. And I also just received a job offer to work as a resident nurse on a mother-baby antepartum postpartum unit. That's where I am right now.
Okay, so you've been busy. You haven't had a break, have you? No, well, that's good, good. We're glad to have you. Bianca comes at a late moment, late hour. We had someone that had to call out with an emergency, and she readily accepted. And she would have been one of the first if I had thought about it. But I see her often with the mother at her mother's office where I work, Miss Rhonda Wallace, and she doesn't look anything like she has cancer. So I didn't even think of her right often. So thank you again for taking this late notice. And last but not least, we are bringing up now Miss Cynthia Williams. And hey, Cynthia.
Hi. Hi, everyone.
All right. Okay. Tell us a little bit about you. Used to look like, right now, you're looking like your sister, your older sister, don't you, Gab? For some reason. Well, anyway, that's my baby.
We have the same hairdo.
Oh, okay. Well, she normally looks like me, but that's my sister. And man, you don't want to go anywhere till you hear from her. She has probably one of the toughest and mightiest testimonies in the world as it concerns cancer. So we're grateful to be able to have her on, where people pull from her all the time. And so we thank you for the opportunity to be here with us on today's Cent. All right. So we're going to go ahead and I may back out just a little bit and give Mr. Gavin, I'm going to switch places with you, Gav. He's going to go with our first question.
Okay, the first question is, when were you diagnosed and what age? And at what age? When were you diagnosed and at what age? Would anybody like to take that first?
Oh, wait a minute. You know what I was supposed to do?
What were you supposed to do?
I got it. Pause. Mute. That's on your end. I don't know what it is. Oh, she rocking the pink hair. That's what it is. Okay. Miss Teresa, can you introduce the program, the foundation, please? And she is muted. Did you mute? Okay, hold on a second. Miss Teresa, can you unmute? Gavin is the only one that needs to mute. So everybody else can unmute. That way we won't have to deal with that. Okay, I got you. I think I got you. Say something so we can hear you. Now you're still muted. Just a second here.
Pastor White, she's gonna have to unmute herself.
I'm trying to communicate that to her now. All right, send her. I got it. Her sister, the president, actually, I told her something may go. I'll do it. Here it is. I got it. I can get my phone back right now. I tell you what, Gab, go ahead with the first question, and I'm gonna come back.
Okay, let's get the first question again. When were you diagnosed and at what age?
Ask somebody.
Let's start with Cindy. Let's start with Cindy.
I was diagnosed at the age of 27, and I was 5 months pregnant at the time of my diagnosis. And that's basically when I found my lump. I was just doing a breast exam, and I told my gynecologist that I found the lump, and he told me it was just a milk kennel, and for me not to be alarmed. But it grew bigger as the weeks went by, and I told him I was concerned about it. It was hard, and it didn't feel like a milk kennel. And he did a needle biopsy, and the needle biopsy came back that I was positive for breast cancer. And they wanted me to abort my pregnancy so they could go ahead and start with everything because the way it was feeling, it was the half size of a walnut. And they wanted to go ahead and start. And I was diagnosed with the beginning of stage 2 breast cancer. So after giving birth, we did a lumpectomy, followed up with 6 rounds of chemotherapy and 33 rounds of radiation.
So what the age was? It was in 1996. You said.
Yes, and they
Okay. Miss Black.
Yes.
When
I was diagnosed in 2017 in my early 40s.
Miss Wallace.
I was diagnosed in 2001 at the age of 3.
At the age of 3? Did you say the age of 3?
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
I didn't know that. I mean, how often is that occurs in America for children that age? Do you know?
So the type of cancer that I had is not as common, but it is one of the most common. I had a kidney cancer, so it's one of the most common kidney cancers. And in all honesty, if you don't want cancer, but as a child, that's the one. But a lot of leukemias are the type of cancers that affect a lot of younger children. But with that, I had a WHIM center, so with that is more. It's very rare, but it's very treatable. So it's a blessing.
All right. Okay, cool.
Miss Dockery.
Yes, I was diagnosed in 2016 at the age of 48.
Okay. All right. Well, listen. For the audience to understand why this is important, then I see Teresa's unmuted now. I can get back. Teresa can tell us about the foundation. But the reason why it's important to do things like this, particularly with breast cancer awareness, you would think with the COVID and everything else that's going on and other deaths, that cancer has taken a back seat and the mortality rate is actually a little lower. And so it doesn't get that much attention. But the reason why that it's lower is because of awareness and they're being detected a little earlier. And so that's why it's important, if you will, to continue to listen so you know what they have experienced. If you will stay on with us and share it to somebody else so they would know how they have dealt with it, also how they found it. That would be a part of the next question, but I'm gonna pause and let Teresa give us a description of the foundation.
Okay, so good evening, everyone. Thank you to Dr. White and all of the guests here on the panel tonight. It's greatly appreciated. The Lucan Foundation is a nonprofit organization that was founded in November of 2013 to commemorate the life of Luann Patterson, who lost her battle to breast cancer in 2007. My sister Lou was diagnosed with inflammatory breast cancer, which is a very rare type of breast cancer. The foundation is founded upon 3 principles. The first one would be prevention. second one is service, and the third one is celebration. Unlike other nonprofit organizations that use profit for research, the Lucan Foundation provides direct services to cancer patients, their family members, and survivors of cancer.
Okay. All right, thank you. Thank you for that. All right, and you will have the next question. Now, keep in mind when the ages that they were diagnosed that they have mentioned and where the diagnosis was. And the next question, Ms. Teresa, if you would ask.
All right. I think
I
some
got
of
it.
you already made the second question all inclusive. But the second question is, what stage were you diagnosed with cancer? And Wanda, take that first.
Yes, I was diagnosed with stage 1 breast cancer, and my type was triple negative breast cancer.
Okay. All
Ms.
right.
Teresa, could I ask Ms. Wanda, what is you said triple negative?
It's an aggressive type breast cancer. I think it's more estrogen related.
Well, when
So
you
I
say,
can't have any medication with estrogen or anything like that.
so when you use the term triple negative, what does that mean? I'm kind of slow.
It's okay, Dr. White. I'm still learning too. I just know that it's one of the aggressive types,
Okay.
and it's
Well,
just
Well, if it's triple negative, that means, Gab, that ain't triple positive. So it ain't, if it ain't right. That means triple bad. How about that? Okay, I got it.
yes, Dr. White.
Thank you. All right, Teresa.
Okay. Bianca, I think you may have answered this question already, but I think you said that you were first diagnosed at age 3. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. I was diagnosed at 3 with a stage 4 Wilms tumor.
Okay. And can you elaborate on that just a little bit? Like at such a young age, what was your treatment?
So when I was diagnosed, I was immediately, I think I went to Charles Hospital and I was immediately sent to UNC, where I actually go to school now. And so my treatment, I think I stayed in the hospital for maybe a couple of weeks. And I only have one tumor out now. So they took one tumor. And then, so after that, I went for chemotherapy.
Okay. All right. Yeah. At what stage were you diagnosed with cancer?
Who was that? You asked me?
Cynthia, yes.
It was stage 2.
Stage 2. And what type?
Oh my gosh. It was, I can't remember. That was in 1996.
Okay.
It's on the tip of my tongue, but I can't. Yeah, I can't. When I do think of it, I get back to you.
Well, this is what is kind of difficult with answering Cynthia's question, because Cynthia has to answer 6 times, isn't it? So we got 5 or 6.
What's that?
Your cancer.
I've been diagnosed with 6 different cancers.
So she would have to answer a little
All
different.
stemming from breast cancer.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Sharon.
I had stage 2, and mine was HER2 new.
Okay.
Cancer.
All right. And I think that's everyone.
Okay. Hey, Gail, can you come and turn your volume on? My producer saying that the volume will be somebody's volume.
I just unmuted mine, but for the most part, mine's have been muted.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. How was the cancer? We good?
Turn your volume down.
Okay. Turning the volume down. Is that better?
Yes.
Okay. How was the cancer initially detected? Let's start with Sharon.
My cancer was initially detected with a routine mammogram. And from the mammogram, I ended up having 2 biopsies.
Okay, Bianca.
So my mother actually got home from work one day, and I was at my grandmother's house, and she hugged me and felt a knot on my side. And I think she was like, okay, well, I mean, 3 years old, I could have fell or anything. And my grandmother was like, no, she's going to the hospital. And that's how they found it, for my mother hugging me and feeling that knot on me.
Wow.
Miss Wanda.
Well, I had a mammogram on a Friday, and then that's for Saturday morning, in the wee hours of the morning, I did a breast self-exam, and I felt the knot. Immediately at 8 o'clock Monday morning, I called to see if they found what I found, and indeed they did, and that's how I discovered my breast cancer.
Cindy.
I'm sorry. What was the question?
How was the cancer initially detected?
I found it doing a breast exam when I was 5 months pregnant.
Okay. I was going to ask Bianca, how did you feel when it was detected, but you wouldn't know, 3 years old?
Yeah, 3 years
Mama
old.
was tickling, perhaps. How did your mama feel? Did she tell you?
My mom is a very strong person, which is really an understatement. So when I was younger, I don't remember seeing my mom ever cry or look upset or anything, which now I'm not grown, but it's crazy to me because I cried a drop of a dime. But, looking back on it now, and knowing her now, I just feel like I feel like in our conversations that she felt like it was almost like a blow to, how you kind of, the wind knocked out of you. I think it felt like that. But see, the whole time going through that, like I can still remember a lot of things vividly. But I think the whole time going through it, I was fine. Like in my eyes, I was good. We were just taking trips to Charleston. And for her, I think seeing that helped her a little bit, as much as it could help a mother. So I think that was the biggest thing of it. I just think that it was more of a can I take it on for her type of feeling.
Okay. And Ms. Reverend Black, how did you feel when you first got diagnosed? What was the feeling?
I was disbelief and numbed. I had actually, they told me they were going to call me the next day. I just finished seeing a patient, had a missed phone call, called the nurse back. She told me over the phone, and I immediately canceled my schedule for the rest of the day. And that was on a Thursday. I told them I wasn't going to be in that Friday, and I would let them know about that Monday. Because I needed that time to be able to process it. And I just remember calling my mom was the first person I called.
Would you do anything different for that initial feeling and how you handled it? Would you do anything different or advise somebody to do different than where you handled it?
I would do the same thing over again because I really just needed that time to reflect and process. So I told my family, and that was it at first, just because I needed that. So I would recommend that anybody really just kind of process what these type things mean to them first and get a sense of understanding.
Okay. Ms. Wanda?
Well, for me, I'm known as a pessimistic person. Even though most of you that see me at school, I'm always upbeat and seem to be a very strong person. But for me, I initially convinced myself that it was positive. So I know I shouldn't have did that, but when the doctor confirmed what I already thought, it wasn't such a blow to me or kicking the stomach. So it was like, okay. And then I immediately, started asking. I think the first thing I asked was I going to lose my hair? And he said yes, in 7 to 14 days after your first treatment. And sure enough, I lost every strand of my hair. And I just had to think about, where do I go from here? How do I tell my children? And I think the hardest part was telling them. And after that, I could go forward because I had a strong support system.
Well, how did you feel about your hair being cut off or dropped out? I guess.
Well, for me, I didn't cry. It was just like initial shock. All my hair falling on the floor. But everyone tells me, it's just hair. But unless you have gone through it, it's really hard to say. But I embraced it well. I wore my beanie cap and, when I was out, but when I was home, I didn't wear it. And then I remember when I finished my chemo treatments, I remember telling my my students I was ready to share with them, and they received it well, because a lot of them had family members who have dealt with that or friends of the family. So, I removed my beanie cap and they received it well. And from that day forward, I didn't have to wear my beanie cap anymore.
Okay. Reverend Black, how you feel when you lost your hair?
Oh my God, I was devastated.
Oh,
I remember knowing that I was going to lose it. So, I wasn't used to this fake hair and all. So I figured I was going to try it, prepare myself. And so when I was taking that off and my girls were helping me and my hair was just falling out and they try to make it feel better. It's not that bad, but it was devastating.
okay.
There we go.
Okay. And Cindy, how did you feel with your initial news? How did you handle it? And how did you feel about your hair? So you got pink hair now, probably don't even matter.
Well, the initial shock, I tried to hold back the tears, but the tears start rolling because only thing I could think about was the little baby, the infant that I had to take care of, and going through a divorce at the same time, and having to take care of my oldest two boys, who were at that time was I want to say I forgot that, I think it was like 4 and 3 that I had to take care of them as well. So my parents, our parents, stepped to the plate and had me to move back in with them until after I finished treatment so they can take care of the kids for me. And they did that. And with my hair, I really, they told me my hair was going to come out, but I really didn't think it was really going to come out like it came out. So I think I was in the car with my sisters and we were outing. And I think Doris was sitting in the back seat and we had the windows down and we was just riding with the windows down, and then my hair started just flying to the back and they was like, oh my God, what is this? So then that was the initial shock. So then we went back to Mom's house and we washed my hair and it matted up like a dog. It just matted up. So we just got the Daddy's razor and just shaved it off.
And you was okay with it? You didn't get
after a while I was okay with it. And
but initially you went through what Shayla went through, devastation.
Yes, I did. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
But being the family, my sisters that I have, I always say they bully me sometimes. They made jokes about it. We laughed about it. Your mom. So we just made fun of it. And I went from there. So after then I just started wearing my little bald head. And that's why I got beginning to wear, because I'm like Sharon was, I never wore fake hair or anything. So that's where the wigs start coming in, and I started liking the different styles, and I was having fun buying different wigs. So it's fun.
Okay. All right. Good. I'll throw this back at Miss Teresa, I think. I didn't mean, that's just the host in me, I guess. I'm sorry. So we'll go to number 5, Miss Teresa.
All right. So now we're going to talk about family history of breast cancer. Bianca, is there any history of breast cancer in your family?
Yes, it is. My grandmother on my father's side actually had breast cancer when he was just going, I want to say, just going to college, which was a while ago, and she ended up having like a double mastectomy. So I remember at a young age, I was able to connect to her because she had already gone through that, and she actually ended up dying. And I want to say maybe about 5 years ago, and she had cancer again, and all of her brothers and sisters had cancer. So it's very strong on my father's side, but not on my mother's side.
Okay. All right. Sharon, what about you and family history?
Yes, we have a family history of it.
Okay. Wanda?
No, we don't. Again, I've always said that I'm just an unlucky soul. I was diagnosed with the breast cancer, and what I did, I took the BRCA gene testing to make sure that to find out if I did indeed pass that gene on to my daughter, and thank God that was negative.
Right. Your history of breast cancer.
I'm sorry.
Oh, that would be it?
All right.
Okay.
Sandy?
Yes, there is a family history of breast cancer on my father's side. My father's sister was diagnosed and she passed away from breast cancer, and her daughter had breast cancer and she passed away from breast cancer. And the funny thing about it, I have two older sisters, four older siblings, and it's like between me and my sisters it's like maybe 20 years apart from us. And then it skipped that generation and it hit me. So so I did the BRCA test. I didn't well, yeah, I did the BRCA test after I was diagnosed the second time, and I was BRCA 1 and 2 positive for the cancer gene.
Okay. Thank you, ladies.
So everybody, if I heard correctly, everybody has a family history. So,
No, I don't.
Miss Dockery, you started off, Miss Dockery, bless your heart. But I guess it's important for us as audience to know our family history as much as possible. I imagine, and I guess you guys talk to your doctors to knowing the family history, does that help with their treatment or diagnosis? If somebody can share.
For me, as far as there were different types of cancers in my family on both sides. But as far as breast cancer, it was cousins on my mom's side. And the type that I had, I was told it was not genetics, but it was just, and actually it was rare for me to have that type. But it, was said it's something that happened, and sometimes the doctors contribute different types of diet and lifestyle foods, and can be contributing factors as well.
Okay. All right. Anyone else? Did their treatment or did the diagnosis because of the family? Did that help the doctors?
Well, in my case, there's no family history, so
Right. Yeah.
they really didn't have anything to base it on. So, they just, based on my type, they came up with a treatment plan.
Okay.
After I was diagnosed the second time, they detected that it, and that's when they suggested that I do the BRCA 1 and 2, the BRCA test, genetic testing, and that's when they found out that I was positive for 1 and 2 when it returned.
Okay. All right. Okay, Gab, you can go.
Okay, let's go to question number 6. Did all of you have a support network? And if not, how did you overcome it or find it?
Ooh,
Let's start with Miss Sharon Black.
I had an amazing support system. My support came from my family, my friends, co-workers, certainly the faith-based communities. They prepared me meals. They're coming to every single appointment that I had, words of encouragement, financial aid. They were right there.
Miss Wanda Dockery.
Yes, I too had an awesome support group. Not to mention my family, but my coworkers. They were so supportive. My family, having gone through that, and at the time that I was diagnosed, I was taking care of my mom who had dementia. So I didn't have time to slow down because I was one of her main caregivers. So, I went to a treatment and then I'll come back and take care of her. So I had to be strong for myself as well as for my mom and to help take care of her.
Miss Bianca Wallace.
Just like everyone else, I had a phenomenal support system. And I think with my case being a little bit different, I think it's important to note like the support system my mom had. So church family, she had a job that allowed her to take me back and forth for treatment, financial help. And I think one thing that stuck out to me is the support that MUSC actually gave us. Like I still remember my nurse to this day. I remember her giving me like my IV flushes. I remember all of that stuff. And so church family, like I had a great support system. And still to this day, I still can count on all those people that were there from age 3 to now 22.
Wow.
Cynthia Williams.
I had a phenomenal support system as well. Oh my God. Support is definitely a way of healing through family and friends. I had an awesome support system.
Yeah, if I can jump in there right quick. You got some follow up?
Well, no, because it seems that everybody had one. The question was, how did you overcome it or find it a support network? But they all
Right. So to somebody that did not have that same support that you guys have, what would be your advice to them? Anybody?
Sometimes another thing for my support system too, just through my insurance company, I had a case manager that contacted me weekly. So that could be an opportunity for individuals, and certainly support groups, reaching out to friends and possibly faith-based and agencies. There's a resource called Caring Bridge, which is a website that individuals can register for and give their loved ones, could be family or friends, this code, and individuals can write them supportive messages. They can donate, they can kind of follow their journey. So that's also a way for individuals to kind of gain that support system that may not have a larger support system. And reaching out to a therapist or a counselor is a way for support as well.
Okay. Now, Reverend Black is coming from, speaking out of Hartsville area. So is there Caring Bridge in the Hartsville or the Florence area?
It's a website. Anybody can go on to log on and register. So for anyone that has an illness, you can register on this Caring Bridge website, and you give this code to your loved ones, your friends, and they can log on and track your progress and provide you with words of encouragement.
Would that be www.caringbridge?
Sorry.
Do you know the website?
It's www.caringbridge.
Okay.
I think it's .com, but if you just Google Caring Bridge, it should pop up.
Okay.
And also your oncologist office should also help you with some counseling as well, where whatever oncologist you go to. And also they have support meetings especially here at South Carolina Oncology. They have different support groups that meet on different days and different weeks.
All right. And Cindy is in Columbia, South Carolina,
Yes.
right now. And Miss Wanda Dockery, she's in Wallace. And Bianca, you're in Charleston, right? Still? Okay. All right. All right.
Okay.
So we're going to the next.
All right. So, ladies, next, when we talk about cancer, it's already a very scary topic, but now we're going to talk about the treatment process during your journey. Ms. Dockery, you want to tell us a little bit about your treatment process and how it went and how it's currently going?
Okay. I had six rounds of chemo treatment. I was on a three weeks rotation schedule. And the first treatment, my oncologist asked me to come back within the early part of the 14 days to 7 weeks, just to see how my body responded to the chemo. Well, needless to say, I didn't know. I had zero. I had bottomed out to zero. I was walking around with no immune system. I was, even after I took my first chemo, I went back to work. I worked during my whole time doing my chemo. So, and I got back in and he checked me. He said, you have no immune system. So he immediately gave me one of those on your arm, the medication that gives you an injection in your arm.
Yeah.
I can't think of it. Yes, it'll come to me. But anyway, so he immediately gave me that because I lived too far to be coming back the next day for some treatment. And then, like I said, I lost my hair in 14 days. It was rough. Let me say, I did not get sick with my treatment. Not at all. I didn't throw up not one time. That was a blessing. And then after I finished my six rounds of chemo, well, let me back up a minute. I had the lumpectomy. Then I had to go in and put the port in. Then I started my process, 6 rounds of treatment, and then 33 rounds of radiation. The chemo treatments went well. The radiation went well. About 5.5 weeks into the radiation, I just started to see the redness from the radiation. My skin never broke to, some people say their skin breaks and they have to stop the process. My skin never broke as a result of the radiation. So I was able to finish my radiation and on schedule without no interruption. So so I went from April of 2016, July 2016 with chemo, and then I did all my radiation end of September going into October of 2016, and everything went well.
Wonderful. Ms. Black, how was the process?
My treatment was the same as Ms. Dockery. It was rough. I continued to work. I would get off work and come straight to the bed. I had lots of side effects. Mine were managed with medications. Radiation burned me like crazy. It broke my skin. It was terrible. Appetite, I lost a good bit of weight. My mouth was dry and raw and throat. It was awful. At the point I really thought about reconsidering that. That was rough.
So how did you cope with that? What would you advise?
A friend of mine made me she had an index card. I told her, she asked me what could she do. I told her to get some index cards and write inspirational scriptures and words on it for me. And so I kept that at my bedside. And for a long time, every day, throughout the day, I would read those. I couldn't even get on my knees for prayers. So I would read those every single day. And when I got every morning, I had to make a decision to get up. I knew I couldn't stay in the bed. I knew I had to keep going. So, if I was late to work, I was late, but I knew I had to keep going.
Wow. Okay. Bianca, can you recall any parts of your treatment process?
I mean, yeah, I had my kidney removed in its entirety.
Oh.
And then after that, I went through 16 treatments of chemotherapy, and we drove back and forth to Charleston throughout the week. I did not get sick at all, which is a blessing. And after every chemo, I would ask my mama where we were going to eat. And I often told my mom, I was like, I don't have cancer. God healed me. So I think that I hadn't experienced really nothing of the world yet. So I didn't have a chance to feel, the feelings y'all felt with your treatments. So I think that's a blessing. But yeah, I didn't get sick. I was always wanting to eat something. I was ecstatic when my hair came out. I was like, oh my God, mama, look at me. And I bet she was somewhere crying like, oh my God. But yeah, everything after those treatments, I was done. And I haven't been, I haven't had to be checked on since or anything like that.
Did you have treatments in high school or junior high? No. Okay.
They do tell me though that I would never be able to run or play any contact sports of any such.
Wow. Tell us now, when the reason I look like that, because I know Bianca's basketball career. Wow. With that said, tell us your awards as a collegiate. Well, not collegiate, but a high school athlete.
So in high school, I attended, I went to Long Middle School, broke a scoring record there. And then I went to Central High School where I played for my mother. And I also played AAU from 5th grade on. But in high school, I broke another record. I scored over 1,500 points. And I was all state all 5 years of varsity basketball. I was a cheerleader. I was a gymnast when I was in middle school and intermediate school.
That's fine.
Always trying to beat boys, running and very competitive.
Yeah. And so that's powerful for those of you that are listening for it. If you ever have a child, I think that's probably one of the saddest things for me to have a child that's diagnosed. But if you push through it, Bianca's testimony there, what they can still yet achieve.
I think it's important. I think it's important too to know that like man doesn't have the last say so. Like no person can tell me where I'm gonna be. What can happen to me, because it's only one person that already knows. The story's been written way before I was even thought about. So I always kept that in mind since I was little. That okay, you say I can't, so let me show you. Like don't tell me I can't do something, because I would do that and a little bit more.
That's the applause. And that's like Reverend Black said. I asked him some advice. I thought she was going to give me some heavenly spiritual stuff, but she said I just had to get up. I had to make a choice to get up, and that's all across life, trials of life, that we have to make a choice to get up and keep moving. It's all up here spiritually, of course. But you all have to make that choice that you're not gonna lay down. So that's good stuff. Cindy, when out of the 6 times, which time that you just could not get up? Which time hit you so hard that you could not get up?
When I was diagnosed with breast cancer 9 years later, and
So
had to
the second one?
have the second time with breast cancer. The first time, the first treatment kind of made me sick, but I bounced back from that. But the second time is when I had to have when I had the BRCA gene 1, the positive gene 1 and 2, I did the double mastectomy and followed up with the chemotherapy, and I didn't do radiation this time. So after the chemo, it made me sick the first couple of treatments. But after then, I think I recovered from the treatments and then I bounced back.
What about mentally, though? Which one actually took you out mentally? That one took you, the second one took you out physically.
The second one took me out mentally because I was married to my second marriage. So the marriage and going through the treatment, I didn't have that support system from my husband at the time it was just horrible. Mentally, it was stressful. I couldn't get to my mom like I always wanted to. I couldn't get to my sisters. I always would tell them that I was fine, but I was really in a state where I really thought about taking my own life at that time.
What got you through it? You say prayer. All right.
Prayer.
All right.
Seeking God.
Yeah.
Turning down that plate, fasting.
Okay. All right. So ever since then, it just come and if you get a diagnosis or a report, you just.
Well, after I got out that marriage and got through that second breast cancer, it was a woof. So, and my children who always keep me grounded, and my mom. So after that diagnosis and going through the chemo and everything, and having the massive heart attack 5 years later because of chemotherapy. That
was after your second one? That was your second treatment or because of
after the second breast cancer, 5 years later. They don't tell breast cancer patients this, but sometimes because they most likely put the port here by your heart, and sometimes the chemo it goes in and it's going towards the heart, but sometimes it just linger around the heart wall. And like what happened to me, it lingered around the heart wall for about 4 to 5 years. And what the doctor said, it was just like a little mouse eating at the heart wall until it finally broke through. And when it broke through, it attacked the heart so aggressive. I had a massive heart attack. They only gave me 2 hours to live. And they called in my family. And so at that time, I lost all faith. I lost my faith. I actually took my eyes off the cross. And so my mom, when the doctor called my mother and told them, I think it was like about 11 o'clock at night. And the funny thing about it, I went to the hospital to an ER little healthcare because I thought I was having heartburn. And I thought I was just going to this little ER. It wasn't even a hospital. I thought I was just going to this little emergency healthcare place. So they would give me the little purple pill that I thought they was going to give me, like my oldest brother was taking for heartburn. Well, come to find out, when they did the EKG, I had 2 heart attacks back to back. And the second heart attack did so much damage, they had to rush me over to the heart hospital. And when I got to the heart hospital, when I was at the little ER place, the doctor's care, my heart fraction was at 25. So when they rushed me to the heart hospital, it had declined. So in your heart fraction is supposed to be anywhere from 55 to 60. And mine had declined all the way down to a 25, just in that little bit of time. And then when they got me to the heart hospital, it had declined down to 15%. So it was started declining. So the doctors had given up on me. They called in my family, and my mom immediately when they called her, she said, okay, we're going to come. We're on our way. But then she had to deliver a message. This was on a Saturday. She had to preach on Sunday. But God reminded her that I was going to be okay. And so she called the doctor back, and she said, me and my family will not come down that road tonight. She shall live and not die. She will be there when we get there tomorrow. My mom, the family came in that next day about 2:00 in the afternoon. My doctor that was on call that night, who is my heart doctor now, He said, I'm going to stay here till your mom get here, because if anything happened to me, she's going to be praying for me. So he actually stayed there. He was supposed to get off at 7 o'clock that morning. He stayed there till my mom and them got there, and he talked to her and everything. So yeah. So and it broke, you know, when I lost focus of the cross. I lost focus of God's promises to me. Once they told me I was getting ready to die, I only had 2 hours to live. But going through my journey that I've been going through, God has really been showing me and teaching me faith, how to stand on his word, how to persevere, how to endure, how to just stand on his word.
All right. Well, that'll cover that, how you get over obstacles, and we'll move to the next. But I would remind, as we go to the next person, is that was on the second bout, but you had 4 more, and your chest walls, heart walls are already weak, but you're taking chemo right now, even now as a champ with the sixth diagnosis. Yeah. And Reverend Black had a question. You can ask it, Reverend Black.
So I heard you say that you had breast cancer twice. Was it the same type of breast cancer?
It was. And what happened with this one, I kept feeling something, and they kept telling me it was fibrocystic tumors that I was feeling. It wasn't nothing for me to be alarmed about. And they were doing 3 months checkups, you know, checking and everything. They kept saying everything was fine. And I was like, no, something doesn't feel right. It just doesn't feel right. So my doctor suggested that he do the aspirations for the fibrocystic tumors, so I'd be at ease. So as he started doing the aspiration, he aspirated 3 of them. So he did the not the mammogram, but the ultrasound. So as he was aspirating them, and he had aspirated 3 already, so then he started moving that little ball around, and it was going back. I said, what do you see? And after he aspirated the 3rd one, he saw the lump. And he did a needle biopsy then, and they told me that it was cancer. At this time, it was the size of, it actually had almost taken the whole breast. That's how big it was. So they immediately, at that time, that's when they had the genetic testing, and they immediately rushed with the surgery. So I had the double mastectomy with the reconstruction. And we went from there. So they don't tell cancer patients either, they didn't back then, because I don't know if they knew back then all the things that can happen to go down the road when you're diagnosed with breast cancer twice, and you have the BRCA, and you're positive for the BRCA genes, that you will have ovarian cancer. You can catch ovarian cancer. So in 2015, and I had the second cancer in 2005. And I was diagnosed with ovarian cancer in 2015. So, and how they called that, you know, with ovarian cancer, you don't have any symptoms or anything when you have ovarian cancer. So usually when they find ovarian cancer, it's too late, and it's already spread it upwards. So I had to have a heart transplant. So they put me on a heart transplant. So I was in Charleston, and they were doing all the different organs to make sure my organs was going to be healthy enough to take the transplant. So when we got to the female portion, they saw that one of my ovaries was real black, and they got concerned. So they sent me back here to Columbia to my OGBYN, and then she sent me to the oncologist, and then did another test. It's called a CA-125 blood tumor testing. And it came back. The highest number in that CA-125 should be 35. That's the highest that it should be. But when they did that test on me, it was up to 900. So it let them know that cancer was there. So I did a complete hysterectomy. And once I did the complete hysterectomy, everything was fine. I did chemo. I did another 6 rounds of chemo after that. Well, in 2018, because of ovarian cancer, they found the tumor on my pelvic. And how they found that is that I was losing a lot of weight, and I just wasn't feeling well. So they did the CA-125 testing again, and it was extremely high. So they found the tumor that was connected on the back of my pelvis. We did surgery to do that, and come to find out it was connected to my colon. So I had colon cancer in 2018. So they removed half of my colon. And after that, I followed up with chemo again. And now, due to ovarian cancer, it has spread it in 3 different places. So I'm right now undergoing chemotherapy for that. So I've had my 4th round of chemo 2 weeks ago.
All right, man.
Yeah.
Woo, it seemed like I have to hear that all over again, because I got a way of dealing with stuff. I put it back so far back that I sometimes forget.
Yeah. But I thank God for this right here, because my faith has gotten so big. Oh my God, I can just look, and the words say, you tell that mountain to move and it'll move. That's just my faith right now. So I don't worry about this. So I encourage ladies, stress is the number 1 factor to cancer as well. So try not to. I'm sorry.
Hold on. You'll get ahead of me.
Okay.
I'm gonna have you to share that in a minute. We are over our time, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the last 2 questions, number 10 there, Teresa, and if each one of you can spend 6 seconds on that particular question.
Okay, so first of all, I just want to say that you all of you are such powerful women, and the testimonies it's just so overwhelming. This question is, as survivors, how is your life different now? Wanda.
Currently, I'm not taking any treatments at this point, but I continue to see my surgeon, my oncologist, and my radiologist every 6 months. So other than that, it's back to normal. But I'm constantly reminded of that I am a survivor because of those twice a year trips to Florence.
Emotionally, there's no different how you look, your outlook on life. Does that impact your outlook on life any, emotionally, spiritually, or mentally?
I don't take things for granted. I've just recently had to go and went through another injury, and so that too has shown me that some things we take for granted, and never take things in life for granted, because it can easily be taken away.
Ms. Black.
I concur. I certainly look at life through a different lens. I'm even more grateful. Certain things don't even matter to me anymore. When I was going through mine too, my brother was diagnosed with mesothelioma, stage 4, and we actually had a couple of treatments together, and he died. So I think about that journey, and when I took my last Herceptin treatment, took the treatment, then went upstairs to say goodbye to my mother because she died. So just really embracing life. I'm not ready to die, but hey, I'm okay with it. I'm really at a place of peace, and so I'm really grateful. So I look at life differently.
Okay, good.
Bianca, do you feel that your life is different since the beginning of your journey?
I think that I kind of grew up a little bit faster because I experienced God a lot earlier than a lot of people my age do. But I often forget that it even happened, and sometimes it's like it's reminded to me, and I have to go back to that level when it comes to faith, because at this age, like, it's so easy to get overwhelmed and try to figure out, okay, are you there? Just being transparent, because Being in college and being around people of all walks of life is hard. And so I think that really created a really strong base of faith for me that I can always return to. But other than that, I think it's not until people find out that I had cancer and they're like, whoa, and it's quite interesting because it's just a blessing that I'm able to continue and lead the life that I do, and people are still like, oh, well, I didn't even know that happened. And I think that's the way that it's supposed to be, because we all go through our own personal battles.
Sure. Okay, and Miss Williams, I'm as a super survivor. That's what I'm going to call you.
Definitely don't take life for granted. Enjoy life. Enjoy every moment. Me and my husband, we've gotten to the point now when something come up, we're like, okay, and we just pass through it. So just enjoy life. Just enjoy life.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Teresa. Gab, you can take this one as Gab is coming, and then we have one more question. If you guys are hanging here with us, thank you for hanging in here. You have a steady number so far, so I hope that you're enjoying it, being informed. And we just have two more questions that I think is very important. I could close it out now, but I think these are very important questions. I want to say this on that note where mute Gab. All right. On that note where Cindy had mentioned about them enjoying life, just enjoy life. After this last diagnosis that she had, I was concerned because she was enjoying life a little bit too much to me. I thought she should have been sitting down somewhere. But the thing is that, so I called her husband. I called myself being smart. So I'm gonna talk to my brother and get him to set her down. But he said, "Bruh, best thing for you to do is settle down. Let her live her life, because that's the only way she's gonna be happy. Just living her life." And I guess like Reverend Black, when you come, each of you have already said, once you come to a reality that God's in charge, and whatever it is that it is, it's on Him. All right, go ahead there, Gab.
Okay, the next question is, I'll start with you, Bianca. What advice would you give recently diagnosed patients?
I think that I would tell them to take it one day at a time, because that's all you can experience, one day at a time. And also, like, it's okay to be upset. It's okay to cry. It's okay to scream. But I think that it's important not to lose sight of why we're here. Cancer is a terrible thing. Like, I hate it. You're not supposed to hate things. But cancer sucks. It does. But I think it's important to understand that as long as you're living your purpose, that's all you can really do, because people will see through you the way that they're supposed to be. And like I say, I think that it's a little different for me, but sometimes it's really hard to sit down and understand the purpose of things, because you're like, why me? But I think for me, being that young and growing up and hearing the testimonies and the blessings that I, like the effects I had on my aunts, my mother, my grandmother, it's a blessing, and you don't understand why things are happening. But I think I would let them know that it's okay to be sad, it's okay to cry, it's okay to scream, but to understand your purpose, and to keep on doing that to the best of your ability.
That's powerful.
Okay, Sharon Black, how do you feel? What would you tell recently diagnosed patients?
I would say that, first of all, there's hope. Surround yourself with positivity, with a great support system. Rely on faith. Follow medical advice for sure. Take someone with you. Take a tablet or notebook. Write things down that they're saying. Understand your treatment, medications, and know your options.
Okay. Know your options.
Okay. Wanda Dockery, what would you say to recent diagnosed patients?
First of all, I would tell them it is not a death sentence. Keep the faith. You as strong as the weakest link, and you are the link. So as long as you stay positive, you will thrive, because we are here to survive. Also, I just want to say that, this is breast cancer, but don't forget the men out there.
Oh,
Richard Roundtree is a breast cancer survivor. Beyonce Knowles' father, Matthew Knowles, was recently diagnosed in October of 2019. So men, y'all need to do your checks as well.
All right. So we have to feel around, feel something, right? I'm serious. Y'all got this.
Yeah. Throw your arm up.
Oh, we got
Yeah,
to
hold your
feel
arm
like
up.
that too. Man, see,
Yes.
did you know that? Did you know that, Gail?
I didn't know. I'm learning right now. I didn't know we had it right here.
Yeah.
Me either.
And I was just to share, I was reading about Matthew Knowles, how he discovered that he had something was going on. One day he looked at his shirt and there was blood on his shirt.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, thank you for that. I'll start checking from now on. Maybe me and my wife
All right.
checking.
Cindy, what would you say to a recently diagnosed patient?
Doctors give the diagnosis and trust God for the prognosis. He is a healer. He is a deliverer. And if you just trust him and trust his word, his word said, by his stripes, you're healed. So if we just lean and depend on God and try not to stress about these things that comes, because it's life. They're going to come. Obstacles going to come. So I would just encourage them just to go through that trial, that triumph, so they can have a testimony, so they can help somebody else. So just when you get the diagnosis, just don't be bitter, be better.
Be better, be better. Don't be better, be better. I like that.
Yeah.
And last, and we'll get you guys out of here on this. Now, these are people that have not been diagnosed. So what would be your message to them? Teresa, you introduce us to what's your I don't want to call him a dog. You treat him like a human. What do you call your pet?
Oh, this is London.
London, that's it. Y'all have to go to her page and find out about London. London is a very human being.
Yes.
Do dogs get diagnosed with cancer?
Yes, they can. Yes, they can. Yes. Yes.
Wow. Okay. All right. So we'll put this back up. We'll get out of here on this one.
Okay. What message, ladies, what message would you like to provide to the women in our communities or in your community? I know, Ms. Doctor, you're in Wallace.
I'm originally from Sherrall.
Okay. So what message would you give the women in our community?
Just go have your annual mammograms. I know some ladies are afraid to do the mammograms. There's really nothing to it. Do your monthly self checks, and if something just don't feel right, reach out to your doctor.
Okay. All right. That's good advice. Ms. Black, how would you what would you say to the women in our communities?
Adopt the holistic approach of mind, body, and spirit. Take health serious. Our bodies is a temple of the Holy Spirit. In the same way we go to church for a tune-up, we have to be in tune to our mental as well as our physical body, and take care of it.
Okay. And Bianca, you're going to be in a new environment with new professionals and women. And so going into your journey, what would you provide to those women in the community that you're going to be in?
The biggest thing I can tell people is to listen to your body. And there's no doctor out there that can tell you what is not going on with your body. Right. I've been in the mother baby scene and I see so many women say, well, I feel this or this is happening. And they're like, oh, no, that's fine. But if you ever feel like I don't feel okay, listen to yourself. As Black women, especially, we are not heard by our doctors. And I think it's so important that you listen to your body. You take that preventative care, because I just see it so often in the hospital. You know, you say this is going on with me, and somebody says no, and it's like, it's your body. So make sure that you're listening. And just like the other two people said, you know, the same way that you have to go and get checkups on anything, you have to check, you know, stay on top of your body, and you know how and checking on all those types of things. So I think that's the biggest thing. Like, make sure that you're getting that preventative stuff taken care of, and that you're listening to your body and advocating for yourself as a patient, and in that in patient care, they're there to service you.
Right.
So make sure that you're advocating for yourself.
Thank you, Bianca. And Ms. Williams, what message would you give to the ladies in our community?
Know your body, and you're never too young to get cancer, especially breast cancer. We hear Bianca's story. You're never too young, and I was 27, Bianca was 3. So, and don't let insurance tell you they won't pay for a mammogram. They will. You know, they say the insurance won't pay till you're 40, but if you have a history of breast cancer in your family, and if you feel something, they will give you a mammogram. You might have to fight, but they will do it. Just be encouraged. It's like Ms. Doty said, that it's not a death sentence. Just be encouraged.
All right. And Gab, do you have any closing words for the ladies?
Mine is very simple. Since no one is dead, you all are survivors. It's never too late to do something that you really want to do in life. Goals, dreams. I think sometimes we let age become a playing factor of not doing something we really want to do, or what we've been through disease-wise or any situation. I say go for the impossible. Anything that you believe, go for it. If you can beat cancer, I really don't feel like there's nothing else that you can't do, or you can't beat, or just, I believe that. I do. So if there's any goals between you 5 women, I think, even if it seems impossible, I think it's the time to do it now. I think you should do it.
Okay. Great. Teresa, you got any closing words for, all right, please pray for your mom. She has stage 4. Okay, Brad. All right, Brad, good. Brad is my shipmate for many years. We're going to have to get up, man, and talk. See, his mother has stage 4 colon cancer, and that's in hospital. Oh, man, we're going to definitely be in prayer for you, brother. Amen. Thank you for tuning in tonight, and hopefully you would receive some encouragement out of this. And Teresa, you can speak to that actually in your closing words, if you would speak to the loss of your sister, you know, the experience that Brad may be feeling at this point.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. White. You're actually on the same page that I was on as I'm thinking about my closing statement. Losing my sister Luann in 2007, it didn't seem real. She had a very rare type of breast cancer that, you know, we had no idea even existed. And I feel that in what I feel right now is that, in a sense, that my sister Luann has given these ladies the torch to pass on, to talk about prevention and treatment and options, and, you know, not being afraid to, when you get that diagnosis, to, you know, take it head on and to deal with it. So I, you know, look at and listen to one of your stories, and I never heard any of you be sad. see that. Even in your stories, I didn't see it. You know, to just sit here and look at you ladies and, you know, you didn't stop working. You didn't stop going. The only time you stopped was when you had to go to chemo or radiation. So I just want to say that it's been a pleasure meeting with you and talking about your history and hearing all the things that you all have actually overcome. And I hope that you will continue to educate women and men in our communities around the world through any type of platform, Instagram, you know, Twitter, Facebook, to give people the hope that they need to know that cancer is not a death sentence.
Mhm. Yes. And thank you for that, Teresa, and sharing this platform, the Lucan Foundation, again, which this foundation is named after her sister. And Brad, man, it just came to my thought that after all the ladies had said what they were saying, living the purpose, I'm sure your mother has lived her purpose. And if they, those that go on to be with the Lord that have cancer, it's not that they, I don't like saying they lost a battle, but they gained the victory over it. And you gained the victory because you lived your purpose. So when you don't let cancer get you down, you're able to live a purpose like the young lady was saying. Such powerful. So we're gonna get out of here on this, and I really appreciate it. This has been real good, very enlightening. The Lucan Foundation, if you would donate to the Lucan Foundation, P.O. Box 1262, Sherrall, South Carolina 29520. And as in the earlier introduction of the foundation, as Teresa was saying, what they do, and I've witnessed them do it, they give gas cards to people that have treatment. I think Miss Dockery has been a recipient, correct, of the foundation, where they give gas cards. And what else, Teresa? What else?
We give gas cards to those who need gas cards. Anything that would be considered a direct service for treatment, you know, we will be able to assist with
Right.
that.
And they do different where they don't, the money doesn't go for research, they actually use it on us giving people assistance. So there you got your groups that do for research, but this foundation does it for immediate assistance that they would need. All right. Okay. And so we want to thank, I guess I call the committee's name, even though you see it. The president, Linda Patterson, committee members, Ms. Loretta Fleming, Sarah Harrison, Barbara Douglas, Alexis Johnson, and Frida Ellerby. I hope I pronounced that right. Okay. All right, ladies, do you have any announcements from your own platform that you want to share? I know Reverend Black, you always have something going on, and Cindy, I'm sure. So Reverend Black, did you have anything you want to announce?
We're good. Thank you.
Okay. Actually, I will say that once a year, may not be able to do it this year, but she does have a platform where she mentioned about taking care of yourself or health, and it's what you call it? What is
Spirit,
it called?
Mind, and Body Ministries.
Spirit, Body, and Mind Ministries, and all that she gives. Tell us a little bit about what is things you offer in there.
So the Spirit, Mind, and Body Ministries is a holistic approach. We focus on the spiritual side, the importance of the physical side, as well as mental health and other resources that we need to just kind of thrive to be better. And so we pull in all those resources. It's a community event, so we want kind of everybody to come in and just kind of gain these resources in those aspects.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Brother Lewis, for listening on YouTube. We're trying to go to YouTube area platforms. Thank you for becoming a subscriber to YouTube. You get the best vision. All right, with that said, ladies, have a great night. Thank you so much. Thank you for the host. You're great. And we pray that God continue to
Excuse me, Pastor White. Could we have Cindy Williams mention the My Heart, My Breast Foundation, please?
Okay.
My Heart, My Breast Foundation is my foundation. I'm the founder, and we help with counseling. We help with medication. We help whatever it is that you need help with if you've been diagnosed with heart failure or with breast cancer. So we donate as well, and we also we help wherever we can help with our foundation when it's consisted of the heart and when it's consisted of the breast.
Okay.
And also, I want to mention too, it's Domestic Violence Month as well.
Mhm.
So, and I am the lead advocate for Bible Way Church of Atlas Road for our domestic violence department ministry. So y'all can always reach out to our ladies ministries if you ever need to talk to, if somebody needs to talk or vent or need help or assistance. Bible Way Church of Atlas Road.
Well, we heard that second time, Bible Way Baptist Church. Anyway, y'all look so beautiful. I want to say this too, and my wife don't like me really doing this particular feature, but as we leave, I want to show everybody that you guys don't look nothing like what you've been through. So I want to show, you don't like me switching these features, and I want them to see y'all close up. So we're gonna start with, no, not you, Gab. That was a joke. Well, we put London in there. How about London? London? Where is he? I can't get him over here. There you go. All right. Now, okay, on the serious note, let's look beautiful, Miss Dockery. If you could take that now, click. I got it. And then the beautiful, don't look like what she's gone through. Amen. God, thank you, God, for you. And the young one, young buck. Amen. And then that one there. All right. Okay. We appreciate you guys, and may God bless you and keep you, and keep living life, keep living purpose. Amen. God bless you. Thank you all for also Congress for listening. All right. Take care. Bye bye. All right. All right. I thank you guys for being with us on tonight. And again, if you're interested in donating to the Lucan Foundation, you could do that by sending checks to, here we go, right there. Send it again to P.O. Box 11262. And thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you on Thursday for Bible study. We start our first round, our first lesson in being all that God would want us to be. Being all that God would want us to be. All right. God bless you all. Have a blessed night.